Yo, what is going on, guys? Episode 90 of many. Same intro, new year, same intro. It's 2026. I know I've been kind of hammering this lately. End of 2025, I'm talking goals. 2026, I'm talking goals. Really trying to ask you guys, like, what is it you want to accomplish this year? And I assume you all feel it by now. You've got this power. You've got this, like, this empowerment of new year, new me. I can accomplish all these great things. That's great. The beginning of the year is the best time to be forward thinking and have an idea of what you want to accomplish, like this year and in the future. Unfortunately, a lot of us only use this time of the year to be thinking about the future and forward thinking. So my first challenge to you is think about this year and what we want to accomplish, what we want to do, and then truly follow up with yourself and hold yourself accountable. Now, I want you to realize it's okay to set goals and not necessarily, we change like all the time, right? Like I'll start a new habit. I'll tell you guys about it on here. 2-3 weeks go by. I figured out I want to try something else, right? We're humans. It doesn't need to be like this perfect thing. So if you set your goals for 2026 right now, and in 30, 60, 90 days, 2 weeks, you're like, you know what? I overstepped, or, I started doing this thing and I really don't enjoy it. That's fine. Reset yourself. Think about what else you want to continue working on and just continue molding it and shaping it. That's all it takes. I know some people are afraid of setting goals. They don't want to have something to hold themselves accountable to because they maybe have done that in the past and they haven't followed through. They haven't, held themselves accountable in some sort of sense. So I get that. One thing that I did this weekend, I'm going for a run with my sister, right? It was our long run. I had intended on a 6-mile loop. She told me, hey, do this loop at 6 miles. And she had to do a longer run. She was going for like 8 miles or whatever. And so we ran most of this run together, and then we had to kind of part our own ways. She had to add like this extra little loop so she could get to her 8 miles, and I had to head back home. And so what I did, and I'm just telling you guys this as a side note, when we split our own ways, so this entire time I'm running, like the first 3 or 4 miles, I'm thinking in my head, it's okay to stop, right? It's okay to stop. You can, and it wasn't that I was out of breath, right? But my mind didn't want to do it. It wasn't like I was enjoying it that much. It was like when I always tell you guys, do the hard thing, this was a hard thing. And I knew I had a long run ahead of me. And I was like, oh, you've never run this far before. All these voices are going in your head. You can stop. It's okay. Nobody else is out here doing this like you're doing it. You can, walk for 2 minutes or whatever. But I kept going. And so we get to the spot where we're about to break off, and from that point on, I've got like 1.5 miles left, and she's, again, got a couple more miles than I. And I go out loud, I said, I just want to let you know, my only goal today is to not stop. And she's like, oh, that's a great goal. And she didn't know why I was saying it. I was just saying it out loud. Because once I told myself and told somebody else, it made me feel like I don't have a choice but to finish this run. Now, if I would have kept it in my head, and then I would have stopped, a 1/2 mile from home just for a quick second, it would have been okay in my head because I didn't verbally, I didn't tell myself I need to do this, right? So I'm just saying this because I know we've all done this where we set goals, we don't necessarily accomplish them, and now maybe we're afraid to set more goals because we've already let ourselves know it's okay not to necessarily pursue them 100% or, to see it through. So be verbal, find what you want to do, and it's okay if you go back on your word and change it up a little bit. Hey, I was going to do a marathon this year, but I'm actually going to do a half because I started really getting into lifting or this or that. So just think about that. This episode's not really to talk to you too much about goals. I do want to give you guys some of the things that I want to accomplish this year. But anyways, I did accomplish my long run. If you guys were listening to me a couple weeks ago, my goal was to do an 8 to 10 mile. My last 2 weeks of the year were a little bit more busier than expected. I was on the road a little bit more to help with year-end stuff for our other company, Priority Fitness, so I did not get to do as much conditioning as I wanted to, but I still completed the 6 mile. It's actually 6.5 miles. My sister told me it was a 6-mile loop. It was 6.4 something, and then I walked a little bit to cool down. 6.5 miles is what I finished at. So my goal here this next weekend is to run probably 7 and, just kind of keep increasing from there. So I am progressing. I didn't hit my 8 to 10 mile goal right away, but I did my 6.5. So I am proud of that. That's the longest I've ever run at one time. That's the furthest I've ever run at one time. It was about a 10-minute mile pace. So if anybody was curious, that's what I did. So something else really cool that I'm doing for the new year, me I shouldn't say me, my sister, my brother, and I, we are going down to Sun Prairie on Saturdays to do some boxing lessons. My brother has already done some boxing lessons in the past. My sister made a comment about it like 6 weeks ago, and she's like, "Oh, I really want to start doing boxing." Same thing, like around like COVID time, and TikTok was blowing up. Everybody was just watching social media. Golf is a big thing. All these people started golfing more, and then a lot of celebrities started like boxing, and they had like in-home, boxing coaches and stuff. So my sister had been seeing it on social media, and as of recent, and she was like, I really want to get into it. And I'm like, all right, let's try it. So one of my Christmas presents to them is we're going to do some boxing lessons and just like learn it. And it's something cool. It's something different. I have some experience wrestling, but I don't have any experience like in a ring like that. So this is going to be cool. This is something out of my comfort zone. And one of my big goals for 2026 is new skills, learning new things, putting myself out there and doing the uncomfortable things. So those of you listening, I also have an event coming up in March, I think. I am going, the gym owner group that I'm a part of, I'm actually going to a speaker school. So it's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday event with this older gentleman who helps coach you on public speaking. There'll be 18 of us there. And then, we're basically just going to do public speaking with the small group of us. And the speaker, the older gentleman, I've already met him before. He was one of the keynote speakers at another event we went to. He's going to tear us apart, and we're going to learn some stuff. And again, this is going to be a very uncomfortable thing for me to do, but I know it's going to make me a better speaker, a better person. Like it's going to help me in the long run, right? So 2026, one of my main goals, learn new shit, do new things, be a badass, right? Like just try to become more, multifaceted, more understanding of stuff. So anyways, let me come back. I've got a couple notes here. I feel like I've got all these things I want to tell you guys. So it's 2026, and I want to tell you about some of the things that I'm doing. One of the things, I got to stop saying things too. One of my to-dos this year is to really go all in on social media a little bit more. Since I started the podcast, before it was video, if you were with me before I even started doing video, I would say, hey, this week I'm going to work on Instagram more. And those of you listening, I only really use Snapchat. I post like all the stuff I do on a random days basis. I've been talking more in front of the camera. So like my post-workout or post-run, if I have a little thing, post-podcast, sometimes I'll get out and walk and I'll just talk to the camera. And I only post that stuff to Snapchat. So this year I really want to get better at Facebook, get better at Instagram, and I want to get more content out there because I know a lot of you don't have me on Snapchat and don't see the things I do there. So for those of you who don't have me on Facebook yet, go add me on Facebook. I made my first post of the year on New Year's, and I wasn't one of those recaps of the year where, oh my gosh, it was a great year and it had its ups and downs like everybody else posts. That's not me. That's not what I was there to post. I posted about the books that I completed this last year. If you read the post, if you go back and like it and share it and all those good things, which I'd appreciate if you did, I said that I read 60 books. I believe I actually read 59. I completed 59. And I started probably another dozen other books, whether it was a quarter way through, halfway through. I have some that I'm even like 2/3, 3/4 of the way through. And so for 2026, I'm working on closing up some of those books that I had started. So go get me on Facebook and look at this post. It was a recap of all the books that I read. It was a picture of all the books. And then I actually just dove into the first 5 books I read last year. And I gave like 2 or 3 sentences, maybe 1 or 2 sentences of like very brief, to the point, what this book was good for. And then if I recommended it to anybody to read, I put that in there as well. So if you're looking for new books, if you are looking to maybe not read the book but have a little bit of insight, I didn't go 1 or 2 sentences. It wasn't like a crazy summary, but there are kind of some key highlights or key points on what this book really meant or what the point of it was. So again, if you need new books, check out my Facebook page. I posted the first 5 books I read in the beginning of 2025, and now like once a week or twice a week, I'm going to post the next 5, the next 5, the next 5, until I get through all 59 books that I read last year. And I'm going to try to utilize my book content for more of my just general content this year. So maybe like a video, on my Instagram or Facebook of a 1 to 2 minute summary, or I really recommend this book because it was great or whatever. So I'm saying these things out loud because I'm holding myself accountable. At least that's what I'm hoping to do. So go check that out. Let me pull up my goals here for you real quick so I can rattle those off. And then I've got like 2 little messages I want to leave you with before we are done here. Let me see. Lock in goals. So what I did was on Google Calendar, I made it a job for myself called Lock in Goals for 2026. This was just like a job on my calendar, so that way I made sure I went through and wrote my stuff. So I've got some content goals I want to post on Facebook weekly. G and I are going to work a lot more together. So these are like mainly personal goals, but I've got a couple like little business things in here. I haven't really sat down and completed my business goals for the year. That's kind of this week. I have some key meetings with G and I are going to do content stuff and figure out what our goals for the year of content are. I've got to meet with Kimber, our rock star coach, and we're going to dive into like our personal training program and what we can do there. And then I still have to meet with my gym managers, Gavino and Ellie, and kind of just talk about the gyms and things we want to accomplish. And then my PF guys, right? So I do have some ideas in my head, but I want to like hear what they have got to say and what direction they want to go as well. Because again, without them, we wouldn't be going, right? So I need their input on what direction they see. So weekly Facebook post. I put Facebook because I know Facebook's going to be easier for me. And then I want to work on my Instagram this year. G and I are going to work on getting some new video ads posted every week. So whether it's new gym memberships, new personal training clients, maybe trying to sell gym equipment for our other company, we're going to try to, one of my goals is like a new ad video each week. So that's going to be exciting. This year I want to do better about scheduling out more podcasts with guests. So going through who wants to be on the podcast and actually having a routine there so I can get more guests on and just have a plan of attack for that. I do, interesting enough, another goal of mine, I want to try some webinars this year. So if you guys are ever on Facebook scrolling or any kind of social media, sometimes you might see somebody who does something that you enjoy and it's a Facebook ad. And anyways, I want to do webinars a little bit this year. So we're looking at maybe launching some webinars for, women's health or nutrition or just general diet stuff or general workout stuff. So Kimber and I are going to work on making a presentation and doing some webinars this year is one of our goals. Let me go into this. So my reading goal of the year is 300 pages per week. And then I want to study religion a little bit more this year. So not something I really talked about last year. I went to, I'll give you guys a very brief background. I was not brought up in a religious household by any means. And there's some pros and cons to those, but what I like is that I've got like a fresh mind and I can learn and absorb whatever I want, right? So one of the things I want to read about this year, and one of the things I want to learn and study is religions. Like I want to understand more about that and spirituality too. Like, so one of my goals this year is to study religion a little bit more. G and I are going to go to church and just like start taking it all in, right? Like that's just one of my goals. So I have that under my like reading/education goals. I just want to learn and understand more. Fitness goals. I want to run a half marathon. I am currently doing 75 hard. For those of you who don't know what 75 hard is, go back and listen to one of the last 2 episodes. I talk about it in there. But I do want to preface. So 75 hard is for those who want like a reset and to grab a hold of their life and like, bring it all together, which is great. I think it's a great thing. For me, I'm already doing a lot of the things that 75 hard needs. Drink a gallon of water a day. I do that like every day. Read 10 pages a day of a self-help, entrepreneurial, like a nonfiction book that helps you become a better version of yourself, essentially, right? I already read, like my goal is 300 pages a week, and I primarily already read that. So outdoor workout, one workout outside every day for 45 minutes. Could be a walk, could be whatever. And then one other workout per day for 45 minutes. Could be yoga, could be your weightlifting session. So like I already do those things. The hardest thing for me is being in Wisconsin. What we usually do for fun is I grab a couple beers on the weekends, right? So for me, the real challenge is 75 days without alcohol. So I am saying I'm doing 75 hard, but I'm not going to track my like water intake as serious as somebody who actually does 75 hard should. On average, I'm drinking like a gallon and a half a day. Is there ever a chance where I just drink barely under a gallon? Maybe, but I'm not going to like take it to that level of extreme. So I'm not going to go around bragging that I'm doing 75 hard. I'm not going to go around bragging that I'm going to complete 75 hard. Like my real challenge is I'm not going to drink anything for 75 days. And anyways, so Other than that, I think it's a very good program. I think it's very good to get your habits aligned. I think reading every day is a very good task, really good thing for everybody to do. I think forcing yourself to do the hard things, which right now in Wisconsin, outdoor workouts every day, whether it's a walk or a run or whatever you want to do, it could be shitty weather in January, February, and March, right? So no matter what it is, rain or shine, snow, wind, whatever, I've got to get outside and I've got to face that. And that's a hard thing. So anyways, one of my other goals is get my Whoop age, WHOOP, under 20. That's one of the things I wrote down. So I have this little wristband here that gives me an age every week of like how healthy I am, comparative. So it'll kind of tell me like if I'm reverse aging or if I'm aging more or whatever. So one of my personal goals is get under 20 this year for a little bit. New skills, goals, things I have written down here. I'm going to do the public speaking. We're doing the boxing lessons. I would like to ski or snowboard this year with my brother. I'd like to do more target practice this year. So again, these are just kind of like out there goals. I haven't really defined them yet. Target practice, whether it's gun or bow, I want to shoot more this year. I just want to feel more confident in my ability to do that. I wrote down like new language. Maybe I want to learn a little bit of Spanish or whatever. And then I also wrote down like guitar or piano, right? Like these are just some skills that I could see myself getting into at some point. But I don't want to overwhelm myself and say I'm going to do all of these today because I'm not going to stick with them. So right now I'm focused on getting in a boxing routine. I'm going to start reading a little bit more books on public speaking so I can get some tips and pointers before I go out and do the public speaking event. Travel goals. I want to get my passport, right? I need that so that way I can actually go out of the country, and I just want to encourage myself to do that. And then I've got some personal vacation goals down here, some places that we already have kind of set in stone. And then I've also got all of the business trips that I've got to go on this year for the gym group I'm in, for like the public speaking event, right? And then I also wrote down like Brewers games, Denver Bronco games, heading up to the cabin once or twice this year, and then also Airbnb trips with some of the guys on my team. So I just wrote these things down. Again, I'm kind of refining them, but I'm just letting you know how I go through them. And then I also made a little thing for things to buy. Like you can't just, I encourage you to make money and save money, but also there should be a little bit of fun money and things that you like that reinforce you as to why you want to make money. So I have, if we can buy more properties this year for our businesses, if we can get, whether it's a rental, whether it's a new gym location, whether it's a warehouse for our other company, maybe buying a new business, right? Like, so I've just got some things to buy on here. I literally have like one vehicle that's an old collector truck that I would like to get at some point, but again, no definitives on here. So those are some of my goals I wanted to share with you. 2026, it's going to be a good year. I want it to be good for you, a good year for you. So think about what you want to accomplish. Think about what you want to achieve. Think about what you want to maybe buy. Think about where you want to go. Think about what you want to do. Like, it's a good thing to be forward thinking and future thinking. Again, if you're not planning a little bit, you don't have to have your whole life planned out. But if you're not planning a little bit, life's just happening to you. So I do strongly recommend that you have a plan of attack. And even if you got all of your vacations on the books or some vacations on the books, that's better than nothing. Like, let's just one thing at a time. This year was the first year that I sat down on New Year's. This is the first year I've ever done this. I just happened to do it on New Year's. I looked at the entire year and I put down like every vacation I know that I've got to go on for work. I wouldn't call it vacation, a work trip. I started scheduling weekends for like Brewers games, and I started looking at their schedule, right? And I'm just like, actually, I have this entire year kind of planned out for vacations and trips and where I expect to go. Even like tentative cabin trips, or I just put the Christmas party, next year's company Christmas party on the calendar, the Friday before Christmas, right? So I'm trying to pre-plan this stuff and have an idea so it's not a surprise when it does come up. So anyways, 2 notes that I want to leave you with. Nothing too crazy today, nothing too deep. First one, doing things with intention. I might have touched on this a couple episodes ago, but since I'm doing 75 hard-ish, quotations, the 45-minute workouts, one has to be outdoors, the other one, they can both be outdoors, but one has to be inside, one has to be outside, the other one can be wherever. 2 45-minute workouts a day. They have to be 3 hours apart, and the whole goal to them is that it has to be intentional. So, I can't go to work and work harder, necessarily, and that's not going to be my workout because it was a tough day in the office, right? Like a tough day installing gym equipment. That's not my workout. It has to be an intentional workout. So I want you to think about doing things with intention just generally in your life. Like, why are you doing this? And when you commit to doing something, do it with intention. Be aware of your surroundings, understand what's going on, but have some care when you do it. And the reason I'm talking about intention is because I also want to talk about discipline. Discipline, I was watching a video and I thought it was very interesting. And these are like my two final notes. So they're just kind of together here. So what does discipline really mean? A lot of people think it's like disciplined is when you are doing all these things that maybe not everybody else is doing. And it's like such a routine for you that you're disciplined. Sure, that's a very low level. I could agree with you on that. Like for me, right, I wake up at the same time, I work out, I take my morning pills. Like I've got this routine, I've got these habits. And some people would say that's very disciplined. The reason that we look at other people and say it's very disciplined is because I'm not doing it, right? So if I go to you, hey, you're very disciplined. Wow, like that's incredible. I'm saying that because that's not my routine and that's not what I'm doing, and that sounds hard, so I'm like proud of you. The thing is, discipline is more or less the things you don't want to do and doing them for a long period of time with no reward, right? So truly doing the hard things that you do not want to do, not being rewarded for them, and continually doing them, right? So putting your head down and truly doing these things. So for me, like you can't use discipline as the things you enjoy doing. The example in the video I was watching, say you have a partner and you have intercourse every day or every other day or whatever it may be. Would you consider that to be discipline? And the answer is no, you enjoy doing it. It's not, oh, I'm very disciplined, I have intercourse every day, right? Like that would be a bad example. So like when it comes to me, right? I wake up at the same time, I take my pills, I do my workout, I come home, I make my food, I do my routine, not because I'm disciplined, but because that's my routine. Those are my habits. I enjoy doing them. So again, discipline for you would be doing the hard thing and being able to do them for a long period of time without the recognition, without being paid for it, without seeing results. That's truly what discipline is. So once you find something for you, and this could be you if you start working out now. Like me, I wouldn't consider it discipline for me, but for you, if you don't work out, you're not in the gym on a consistent basis, right? It does take discipline to get there and to continually do it. And a lot of people don't enjoy the gym. I like the feeling. Like I do want to look better. I do want the result, but I enjoy the feeling. I enjoy the workout itself. So for me, it's just, again, discipline isn't doing the things you enjoy. It's doing the things you don't enjoy for a long period of time and enduring the pain. You know what I mean? Like that's truly what discipline is. So I want you to be intentional in the things you do, just in general life. Be aware of your surroundings and understand what's going on. I know we talk emotion over logic. We talk logic over emotion. So I just want you to think about, like, when you're doing things, are you doing them intentionally? Are you realizing what you're doing? Do you know what's going on? And are you recognizing everything around you? That's all I've got for you guys today. Intention, discipline, be aware of your surroundings, understand what's going on, learn from everybody else around you, learn from, we talked perspective versus perception, right? Just think of these things as you're going on in your day-to-day life, and let 2026 be the year that you grow and become a better version of yourself and understand where other people are coming from. And again, that logic over emotion, the better we can communicate with people. And anybody who talks to me one-on-one, I think communication and being able to communicate well with people and understanding how they communicate and being more like that person is very important. I actually do have another note I made last night from the book I was reading. Let me pull it up here real quick for you. If you want to be interesting, be interested. If you want to be fascinating, be fascinated. Be empathetic and care about that person you are talking to, right? So this is just a note, like, if you want people to talk to you and want them to enjoy you, like, the other note I have here too, I'll say it and then I'll put these two together. you want to be like a mirror, right? So if you're talking to me and you're using a certain kind of voice, I want to match that kind of voice, right? I don't want to be louder. I don't want to be whispering. I want to be matching that voice, that tone, that tonality. If you lean in a little bit, I might lean in a little bit, right? Like if you're going to tell me a secret and you lean over to me and I just keep sitting here, like that doesn't really like if you just think about it, the image of that. If your best friend is leaning over to tell you something, right, whisper in your ear, you're going to lean over and also let them whisper in your ear. Like that's matching. That's being a mirror. And so what this does is when you're talking to people and you're doing the same things as them, it opens up this door and it allows them subconsciously to feel like you're a likable person. You guys are alike in some sort of way. And so there's a better connection there. So when you're talking to somebody, use that same tone of voice. Just be more like that person. And I know so many people, when you talk to them, they're always themselves, which is fine. And when they're themselves, I'm trying to be more like them. So that way they're on the same level and they feel heard and listened, right? And that's not manipulative. That's like being a good communicator and being on the same page. I try to tell so many people, when you come and talk to me, you want to have that same mindset. You want to be more like me. You want to talk, you want to understand who I am, and you want to get the best outcome when you're having a conversation with me. Be more like the person you're talking to. Understand them more. Have the same attitude, right? If, for example, I'm not a very loud person when I come into areas or when I like make an entrance. If you come in and hang out with me in the office and you make a grand entrance, you are loud and proud, and that's okay like the first couple times, like if I don't really know you and that's who you are. But once you get to know me and who I am and how I talk and how I communicate, I like that humble, subtle, like just that attitude. So when you come in and say hi to me, again, just you want to know your place. You want to know who you're talking to, how you're talking to them. And so again, this is kind of like that intention, right? Like do things with intention, understand what you're doing and why you're doing it and who you're doing it for. So something to think about as you're going through the new year. The better you can communicate, the further you're going to get. And the more emotion you can take out of things and the more logic you can put into them, the better decisions you're going to make, the further you're going to be along the road. And again, it just changes like everything dramatically when you can eliminate that emotion, when you can bring in that logic. And we all have the logic. It's just we're human beings. We have feelings. We have emotions. They overtake us. They come first. That's the first thing, right? Like somebody is injured. Somebody gets in a car accident. Somebody passes away. Somebody breaks up with you, right? What's the first thing that happens? Your emotions. You don't know what to do. And some people it's an outburst. Some people it's like this big mental weight. Like we all have different emotions and different ways of dealing with these things. But the more we can, I'm not saying hide the emotions, shove them down and pretend they're not there, but don't make an emotional decision, an irrational decision. Let your emotions calm down. Let your emotions get to the side. When you're ready, it might take you longer than the normal person. It might take you a week before you can, depending on the situation, right? Before you can make a logical decision. That's fine. You need to at least be able to tell yourself, hey, so-and-so, I just need some time. I'll reach out to you when I'm ready. That's fair. You told them exactly you told them where you're at. So do not make that irrational decision. Don't send that nasty text. You're not winning anything. You're just hurting the relationship even more. And again, winning an argument, I've told you this before, winning an argument doesn't do anybody any good. You're going to piss your friend off. You're going to offend them. You won, but it doesn't really win anything because now you've got a hurt friend. So the best argument is one that it's just an agreement. You come to an agreement, you don't need to win. You don't need to win anything. There's no pride in winning an argument. You don't need to prove yourself right. Now, I'm not saying as far as debating goes, but at the same time, finding common ground. And anyways, I'm going on and on. I want you guys to be the best version of yourself. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to deal with people. Learn how to deal with your own emotions. And I think this year will be an even better year than the past years. So 2025 is gone. 2026 is here. Be the best version of you. If you guys want to add me on Snapchat, Colton.Burt, Colton.Burt. Instagram, ColtonBurt19. Find me on Facebook. We've got these amazing emails going out every Tuesday and Thursday. I am typing them up. Gavino's doctoring them up, making sure they sound good, look good. I don't have any spelling errors. And then they're going out every Tuesday and Thursday, I think afternoon or something like that. So if you're interested in hopping in our emails, shoot me a message. Shoot G an email. Garrett at fitnessgrizzly.com, Garrett at fitnessgrizzly.com. Send us an email. We'll get you on we'll get you on the emails there so you can see them. The emails, a quick runaround or a quick brief. It's just mainly me talking about what's going on in my life. I'm trying to educate you on sleep, nutrition, fitness, diet, my running routines. I'm just trying to be personal. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. We're doing some fun giveaway stuff on there as well coming up. So anyways, I appreciate you guys for listening. Episode 90 is in the books. 2026 is going to be your best year. Make it that way. I need your help making this podcast grow and getting the message out. So again, share the Grizzly Life Podcast with your friends, family, anybody who you think might get a little bit of value from this episode. Send it their way. Say, hey, I think this episode was just for you. For some reason, it was just talking to you. I don't, no offense, but I think this would be a good one for you. Listen, share it with people. I need you guys to help get the word out. And I appreciate you all for listening and being, some of you, some day one listeners. So anyways, appreciate you guys. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. See you later.